Good morning. Good morning to all. A hearty welcome to all the participants to the national webinar series on ethics in higher education, organized by IQAC of Marathanishas College, Kodamangalam, under Paramarsh scheme UGC. Marathanishas College is an autonomous institution with A+ grade in NAAC accreditation. Recently, the college is being ranked at the 86th position in NIRF ranking by Ministry of Education, Government of India. With an aim of imparting quality education in higher education sector, we are undertaking a series of online lectures on topics like research ethics, professionalism in higher education, and new modes of education, new modes in teaching, etc. I would like to welcome the gathering on behalf of IQAC Marathanishas College to this webinar series. First, let me welcome our dear principal, Shandia Vera Ma'am, to this webinar. Her constant support and guidance provide proper direction for all the activities of IQAC. Today, we have Professor Vinod Kumar Garg from Central University of Punjab as our invited speaker. Let me extend a hearty welcome for you, sir. This program is organized under Paramarsh scheme, so we have participants from our Mendi institutions. I welcome all the students and faculties from these Mendi institutes to this webinar. Finally, I welcome all the teachers, academicians, students from Marathanishas College and other institutes to this academic venture. I wish this would be a very fruitful endeavor for all the participants. Now, I welcome Minu James, Assistant Professor in English, Marathanishas College, for introducing the speaker for the participants. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce the speaker of the day, Professor Vinod Kumar Garg. Professor Garg is an outstanding academician, eminent researcher, renowned technical reviewer to many national and international journals, and above all, is an influential speaker. He has been contributing extensively to the realm of environmental science and research. He is currently working as professor in the Center for Environmental Science and Technology, Central University of Punjab. He has expertise in water and wastewater pollution monitoring and treatment, solid waste management, pesticide pollution, heavy metal and radionuclide pollution, and radio ecology. He had his PhD in chemistry from CCS Haryana Agricultural University, Hisar, in 1992. Professor Garg has an excellent academic and research record. He has to his credit 265 research articles, in which 112 are international papers. He owns 35 Scopus H Index, 4,200 Scopus citations, 42 Google Scholar H Index, and 6,400 Google Scholar citations. He has undertaken many research projects. As a research guide, he has produced 11 PhDs and 6 are ongoing. Moreover, he has bagged many honors and awards like Outstanding Reviewer Award from Elsevier in 2013, 10, and 2007, and Thomson Reuters India Citation Award in 2012. Professor Garg, before joining Central University of Punjab, for 12 years worked as professor in the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering, Guru Jampeshwar University of Science and Technology, Punjab. He had served as an associate professor in the same department for 8 years. He had also served as assistant scientist in the Department of Agronomy, CCS Haryana Agricultural University, Hisar, from 1992 to 1996. Today, he is going to talk to us about research ethics, which is a subject in which we should all be deeply interested and surely help us to ensure our research future. Now, I invite Professor Vinod Kumar Garg for the talk. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Minu James. A very good morning to all of you. First of all, I am thankful to the principal of this college that they have given me a chance to share my views with you on research ethics. And before I start my talk, I also congratulate this college for getting 86th rank in recently given NIRF ranking. And also, this is great to learn that this college is having A+ NAC grade. Friends, I want today's talk to be in discussion mode. I don't want it to be a one-way traffic that I keep on speaking and you keep on listening. No, I would like it to be more in discussion mode. And before I start, I want to set a platform. And for that, I want to ask you one question. You all are either faculty or research scholar. Those are research scholar. After some time, they are also going to be the faculty in some university, in some college, or in some institute. I want to know from you people that as a college, as an institute, as a university, what are our products? Because we are spending 25 years, 30 years, or more than that in an institute. So we must know what are our products. So this is my question to you people. I would like someone from the participant to answer this question, that what are the possible products of a college, of an institute, or a university? Yes, please. Anyone? None of the answer is wrong. This is what I want to say. So I want to listen from you. That okay. Binitha RN has given one answer that our students is one product. Yes, you are right. One of our product is our students. We want best kind of citizens, best kind of responsible citizens from our institute. This is one of our product. What may be the another product? This is what I want to know from you. That what can be the another product? Research publication, yes. Again, Brinta has given the answer that research publications, not only research publication, research is our second product. And then Manjula has given answer that new knowledge will come under the research. When I say research, this include our PhD students, this include our research papers, this include our research projects, this include our postdoctoral fellows, this include our patents or any other related activity which we do for creation of new knowledge, that will come under our second product, that is research. And what can be our third product as an institute? Yes, please. Anyone? Okay. Let me give you answer. Our third product is outreach. Friends, whatever we are doing in the institute, ethical, there is one question from Silver Chimneys that ethical issues, yes, they all will, I think ethics is related with every activity, whatever we do in our daily life, in our institute. Ethics are related over there. The third product is the outreach. Outreach means whatever we are doing at the cost of taxpayers' money. And because of that, this is our moral responsibility that whatever knowledge is created in our labs, whatever knowledge is created in our institute, in our college, that should go to the general public, that should be used for the general public. That is the outreach. Let me give you one example from the environmental sciences. Suppose presence of fluoride in the water of your city is a problem, suppose. And someone among you has done some research that how or someone has developed some technology, you can say some material has been developed, which can be used to remove that fluoride from the water. So that should go to the general public. We should tell to the general public that by using this particular process, you can remove fluoride from the water. Or other way around, let me tell you, for example, let me take this COVID-19 phase. So many guidelines are there regarding washing the hands, regarding using the mask, and this vaccination and that all. Nowadays, a lot of hesitancy is there regarding the vaccination. I don't know what is the situation in southern part of the country. At least a lot of hesitancy is there in the northern part of the country. So this is the duty of we people to tell them the scientific facts, that if you take vaccine, that is not going to harm you. These all are the rumors what are spreading in the society. Similarly, suppose you know how to test the water. You might be knowing that at any given time, 50% admissions in a hospital are because of consumption of polluted water. So if you educate people, they can test their water at home. The number of admissions in hospitals can be reduced. And when the number of admissions in the hospitals will be reduced, the expenditure of the government on the health sector will be reduced, and that money can be used somewhere else for some good purpose. So outreach is our third product. Outreach means you can organize certain kind of workshops. You can organize some training program for people. They all will come under the category of outreach. And our fourth product, I want to know what can be our fourth product. Yes, anyone, please. Yes, Manjula has written dissemination of knowledge, that will come under outreach, that I have already discussed. So what can be our fourth product? Friends, our fourth product can be consultancy. You all know that the governments are decreasing day by day. It's very difficult to find the grants from the government. So in that situation, you all are masters, you all are doctorate. You can provide knowledge to the industry, and that knowledge which you provide to the industry, in lieu of that, you can generate certain money, and that money can be shared between institute as well as between that particular researcher or between that faculty. So if you do consultancy, that is a win-win situation for everyone. And when I say consultancy, here comes incubation of startups or incubation of spin-offs also. Friends, suppose a number of research scholars are here in this gathering today. Friends, many of us think that I'll do my doctorate and then I'll be getting a very good government job. Think out of box. Think a little bit different from this. Some time back, I was in a university in Switzerland. The name of university is EPFL. Please, whenever you get time, you see the website of that university. That university claims that we are #1 university in the world among those universities which have been established in the last 50 years. Whenever a student do PhD over there, there is a research committee at the university level. The thesis of that student is given to the committee. The people evaluate the thesis. If the committee finds that the research done by the student is commercializable, they immediately sanction 1 million Swiss franc to that student. They give space to that student to start a company. And what the EPFL get out of that, they have their share in that company, they have their equity in that company. If they find that the research which has been done by the student cannot be commercialized immediately, but this is having a potential in future, they immediately ask their IPR cell to help the student get the research be patented. So in future, and the EPFL is one among the partners in the patent. So as and when that patent will be sold to someone in the future, certainly they are going to get money out of that. If they find neither the research is commercializable nor patentable, they give it to the student. Okay, dear student, you take it back and publish it as a research paper or present in conferences and like that. So friends, here come the concept of incubation. Incubation is very, very important. Unfortunately, except few IITs and few other institutes, I think we people don't have the concept of incubation. I'll suggest you, please, whatever PhD is done from your institute, have some committee, think about that PhD, whether it can be commercialized or it can be patented or not. Let me give you one example. For example, at Central University of Punjab, we have started the incubation center. We are evaluating every PhD thesis on the same model as used by the EPFL. And we are planning in the next 10 years, we want to incubate 20 to 30 industries or 20 to 30 startups to be started by our students. And in that, we are planning that in every industry, in every startup which we incubate, we will have 20 to 30% equity. Imagine a situation that out of these 30, one startup is worth rupees 1,000 crore. So if we have equity of 20 to 30%, after 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, we are going to get 200 or 300 crore rupees out of that. So my university will be running automatically from that money. So we have to think that way regarding the PhDs. Means, unfortunately, in India, maximum emphasis is given on the publication, whereas according to me and according to the top universities of the world, publication should be the least priority. Commercialization and patenting should be our first and second priority, and publication should be our third priority. So let me share with this background. Let me share a presentation with you that I have prepared for today's talk. And yes, basically, out of these 4 products, I'll be talking about one product only, that is research. Although ethics are required in every act, in every activity, whatever we do, but research, these ethics are most important for the research. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. What is research? What are research ethics? Little bit about copyright and why to publish your research, and that all. So friends, if I start with what is research, I want to ask the participant what they think, that what will be called as research. Yes, anyone among the participants, please. That what is research? Yes, please. Anyone would answer? Dr. Sarita, am I audible?
Sir.
No one is answering actually. Okay. Let me answer this question. Friends, suppose something has gone wrong with your mobile phone and you do little bit hit and trial, and then you repair your mobile, that will not be called as research. Similarly, if something goes wrong with your laptop, you do little bit hit and trial, you do some reconnections and that all, and you address the issues which were with your laptop, that will not be called as research. So then what is the research?
Sir,
Basically, research is systematic investigation into and study of material and sources in order to establish facts and to reach to new conclusions. Basically, research is a structured inquiry. If we do something in a haphazard manner, that will not be called as research. Whenever we do research, that time we utilize certain acceptable scientific methods, methodology to solve the problems and to create new knowledge. Whenever you students do research or whenever we people do research, there is a very common question that is asked to us by the general public, that what is your research good for? What will be the use of your research? This is a very common question that is asked to we people. And to answer this question, we have to differentiate between basic research and applied research. Now, what is basic research? Basically, basic research is curiosity driven. Basic research is motivated by a desire to expand knowledge. And basic research involves acquisition of knowledge for the purpose of knowledge. For example, you are interested to know that water will boil at what temperature. That will be called as basic research. Suppose you are interested to know that what is the cause of malaria, that will be called as basic research. Basically, basic research is intending to answer why, what, how type of questions, and to increase the understanding of fundamental principles of the science. Friends, basic research may not have immediate commercial objectives, but sometimes this may be able to means to solve some problem immediately. So basic research is generally carried out to answer why, what, and how. I'll be giving you more example in few minutes. And if I come to the applied research is designed to answer specific question to solve a specific problem. You all might be knowing that one lady from, I think she was from Oxford University, who has developed this COVID vaccine, this COVID-19 vaccine, which we are using in India. One among them has been developed by some lady. So that vaccine was developed for some specific purpose to solve a practical problem which the world is facing at the moment. So that will be called as applied research. So this applied research generally have specific commercial objective. This is in the form of products. This is in the form of procedures. This is in the form of services. And here also, let I give you a few more examples. Let me take the example of osmosis. Those are from chemistry or those are interested in science, they all might be knowing that the first Nobel Prize of Chemistry was given to the Van Hoff for the phenomena of osmosis. You all might have studied this osmosis when you study these colligative properties in a solution chapter in chemistry, or you might have studied this somewhere in biology also when you study about this cell processes and that all. And he was awarded Nobel Prize for it. Van Hoff was awarded Nobel Prize for osmosis. At that time, nobody could expect or imagine some commercial purposes of this osmosis. But 30 years down the line, there were two another scientists. They just reversed this phenomena and they developed a device that is called as reverse osmosis. I don't know what is the position or what is the situation in southern part of the country, but if you come to the northern part of the country, in almost every house, you will find this RO, reverse osmosis device. In all vessels, ships, they use this reverse osmosis technology to filter the seawater and to get the water supply on the their vessel or on their ship. So friends, you see, these two scientists just reversed the phenomena and they were able to mint money like anything because they gave solution to a particular problem with respect to the water, how the salt can be removed from the water, making the use of reverse osmosis. Let me give you one more example, very interesting example, that is of DDT. Friends, DDT was synthesized in 1874, long back, about 150 years back, by an Austrian student, Jedler. I think he did his PhD from Germany. Those are from organic chemistry, particularly they might be knowing that in organic chemistry, a number of organic compounds are synthesized. This students synthesize the compounds and those compounds are characterized, and after that, that research stopped over there. Same was done by the Jedler. He synthesized this DDT and he got degree, and thank you very much. But there was another scientist. He was working with the Bayer company. You might be knowing Bayer is a buyer, is a very well-known international company that deals in these pesticides. And this Paul Muller was scientist over there, and he discovered the insecticidal properties of DDT. And I think they got unexpected money because this DDT was used like anything in the Second World War. In Second World War, soldiers were more worried of malaria than this bullet. So all those soldiers which were going in the war, they were given 1 kg packet of this DDT that you keep it with us. You may not get water anywhere to take bath or to wash your clothes. So it's better you put this DDT in your head or over your clothes, so you will not be getting any kind of insect, etc. in your head, what they are called as, I don't remember what we call that. So, and Jedler didn't get anything, but Paul Muller got Nobel Prize also for that in 1948. So friends, what I want to say till now, whatever we have discussed, whatever research you do, try to find out some commercial things, some commercial angle into that. I have seen at many places, including my own place, whenever a PhD student start a degree, they go to their guide and then guide say, okay, X student is already doing this work and you also start some kind of extension in that work. So friends, we have to protect our students, the future of the nation, from such kind of PhDs. Instead of awarding 10 bad PhDs, it's better to award 10 or 5 good PhDs which are having certain meaning, which are having certain worth, which can be patented or which can be commercialized. When we talk about research, we have to understand that what is the difference between research methods and research methodology. Can anyone among you, I am closing it for a minute, can anyone among you answer this question that what is the difference between research method and research methodology? I would like this answer from some PhD scholar. Yes, please. That what is the difference in research method and research methodology? Anyone? There are 100 people, I think, in this online webinar. So anyone can answer. Yes, please. Please increase your voice. This is not audible.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Rafia.
Research methodology is the various steps we follow to do our research.
Yes. What you will call research method then?
Method is the particular technique we use in the lab.
Yes, yes. So Rafia has very nicely answered this question. So I'm again sharing with you my presentation. Thank you, Rafia. Yes, basically research method is a, you can say, procedure or some technique, some method, some tool that is applied by the researchers to undertake the research. Let me give you one example. Suppose you are interested to find out the chlorophyll content of a leaf. When you are interested to find a chlorophyll of a leaf, then there is a very standard method that is called, this is given by Arnon in 1949. Arnon method is used almost all over the world to find out the chlorophyll content. So that will be called as a research method. That will not be called as a research methodology. Similarly, suppose you are interested to find out the pH of something. That will be called as a research method. Suppose there may be some social science students, they are interested in a survey. When they go for the filling of the questionnaire, when they go for the interviews of the subjects, that will be called as a research method. Basically, research method is concerned with the carrying out of experiments, carrying out different tests, surveys, interview, etc. As told by Rafia, research methodology is a complete package. Research methodology is a system of methods which are used scientifically for solving the research problems. So research methodology is having different stages. I'm coming to them, that what are different stages in the research methodology. As I told you that, okay, when a new student is joining the lab, we will go to the guide and the guide will say, okay, X student is doing research and you also start doing the similar work. He is doing a survey of X area, and you do the survey of Y area, or you do the survey of Z area. Friends, that is not the right approach. These are different stages of the research methodology. The most important stage and the very first stage is selecting the research area. Students should select the proper research area in which he is interested to do the work. For example, you are working in the field of environmental sciences. Then you must know whether you want to do something in ecology or environment, whether you want to do something in the field of pollution, whether you want to do something with respect to, you can say, earth processes, whether you want to do something about geology, whether you want to do something with the policies, legal, and that all. So that should be decided on the day one. Once you have selected your research area, then you formulate your research aims, formulate your objectives and research questions. And based upon this all, you develop your hypothesis which you want to test for your doctorate. The next stage is the review of literature. Friends, this is the most important stage starting any research. Because based upon literature review, you can identify the gaps which are presently existing in particular area. And once you have identified the gaps, based upon those gaps, you can develop, you can say decide your research aim, and you can develop your objectives, your research questions, and you can develop your hypothesis. So before I move ahead, I want to know from you people that how you people go, particularly I'm talking to the research scholars, that how they plan review of literature, what kind of websites, what kind of journals they consult, and how they do this all. This is what I want to of you for a minute. Yes, please, anyone. Any research scholar can tell that what approach has been used by him or her for this. Okay, Silver Chimney says that he used this Google Scholar, and then one more is given, that is Scopus. Okay, good. Any other? Yes, Jayashri is saying that Web of Science. One more. From Marlil Kurian is telling Sci-Hub. Friends, let me tell you about Sci-Hub. Sci-Hub has been started by Ukrainian, by a girl. I think, I don't know whether she is Ukrainian or Romanian. Her name is Alexandria. She was computer science student when she was 24-year-old. Then she started this website called as Sci-Hub. This is an unauthorized website. I know many people in India use that. That girl say that there should not be any kind of boundaries in the research, and access of research, access of published research should be to everyone all over the world. Whereas you all know that if you want to go for Science Direct and for the Web of Science, etc., you have to pay money for that. It means those are not having the money. They cannot assess the research. I personally feel this is not very good. Research should be for all. And presently you might be knowing that this girl is somewhere in hiding. She is somewhere, I won't name that country in which she is presently. She is in hiding, and this particularly this Elsevier, this Science Direct people, this Science Direct is of Elsevier. They people have filed a suit against her in the court of law, and I think she has been fined millions of dollars. She is not having that money, so that's why she is in hiding at present. And Ginny says that ResearchGate can be used. Again, I don't consider ResearchGate as a very good thing. Friends, again, here comes the question of ethics. According to you publish a paper in a good journal, that time you transfer copyright to transfer copy. Am I audible, Dr. Sarita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever whenever you publish in a journal, in a good journal, generally you transfer the copyright. And when you transfer the copyright, that time you transfer the commercial rights as well as distribution rights of that particular publication, research paper. And just a minute, someone has raised hand. Just a minute, let me complete. And I have seen a number of people, they upload their papers on the ResearchGate. That is free distribution. Please avoid that if you have transferred the copyright to that particular publishers in which your paper is published. Yes, who has raised the question? Who has raised the hand? Please can ask the question or whatever query is.
Sir, I think it seems like accidental.
Okay, it was accidental. Perfect. No worries. So I'm again coming to back to my presentation. Just a minute. Then a number of examples are given by people. I'll be discussing them just after starting this presentation. Yes. So some good examples are given. You can go for Science Direct, or you can go for Scopus. You can go for Web of Science. I won't recommend Sci-Hub, although I know a number of people use this Sci-Hub because via Sci-Hub they can download any research paper. ResearchGate can be used to some extent to see the certain publications. Google Scholar I don't consider very good because a lot of garbage is there in Google Scholar. So you have to apply your mind while you take into your situation to identify the gaps which are existing. Then once you have developed your research aim, objective research questions, then you have to select the methods of your data collection. Whether you will generate primary data or whether your research will be based upon secondary data, that you have to identify at this stage. Primary data means the data that will be generated by yourself, that may be through some experiments which you do in the lab, or that may be through certain interviews, or that may be through certain surveys. And many a times research is based upon data that is already available, that is called as based upon secondary data. For example, let me give you an example. Recently, my research group has published 3-4 research papers which are based upon, those were related about the, you can say, pollution reduction during the lockdown periods in India. So in that case, we have not generated any data. All the data with respect to the different air pollutants concentration in the air have been taken from the Central Pollution Control Board websites and different kind of modeling, and that all has been done. Interpretation of that has been done and that has been published. So those all research were based upon the secondary data. In case I myself collect pollution level data using my own devices of different places and then publish certain research papers based upon that data will be called as a primary data. So this primary data can be through the experiments in lab, or it can be through the field work. Then once the data is with you, then you have to do the data analysis. Friends, this is most important part of any research. What to do of the data, how to analyze the data which you have collected. Because up to data collection is the donkey job only. Anybody can do up to that stage. Anybody can go into the field and can do the survey. Once the data is with you, what particular kind of tests will be used? Suppose you interviewed 100 people for some particular project, or you did survey of 100 people for or 1,000 people for certain project. Then you have to find out whether you will go for the chi-square test, whether you go for the t-test, whether you go for ANOVA, or whether you will go for correlation, regression. So you must know that. Basically what I want to say, you must have good knowledge of statistics also for the analysis of the data. Once you are done with the data, all the information that is buried in the data, digging out of that information and reaching to certain conclusion is another most important part. You have done a lot of research and all information remain buried in that data. There is no use of that data. I have seen a big problem with the Indian PhD thesis. Students work for 3 years, students work for 4 years, lot of data is collected. And when they write thesis, in the thesis generally I find, okay, the pollution level ranged from this to this, pollution 100 people out of 150 said yes, 50 said no. We generally, basically I say this is not, you can say, interpretation of the data. This is reporting of the results. So we have to teach our student, we have to guide our student how to dig out the information that is buried in the data. If you will see any research paper from some good university internationally, you will find that students do lesser experiment, but they do more discussion and more digging out of the information that is buried in that data to reach to certain conclusion. And after doing this all, you can say, yes, the next one step that I have forget, you have done your research, you have written, you can say you have reached to certain conclusion. Those conclusions go to the general public. Those conclusions go to your peers, to other people, those are working in your area. You have to go to for the publication, for patenting or for commercialization, whatever you want. So this all package is called as research methodology. Yes. Basically, when you start research, you have to follow good research practices. And these good research practices, they begin with the problem selection and up to the research designing and that all. So whatever proposal you make, whatever synopsis you make, whatever project you make, that should contribute new knowledge. Whenever you start doing research, ask yourself one question, that your research is good for what? Means whatever you do, that should solve certain challenges, that should correct certain errors which are presently existing in the literature, or you should develop certain new methods to conduct the research. Basically, there are 3 most important steps of any good research. And these 3 steps are research design, that is the first step. Second important step is conducting the research. And third is the dissemination of the research, means the publication of the research. Friends, in all the 3 steps, and out of these 3, ethics are most important in 2 steps, that is the conducting the research and dissemination of the research. If we do some, you can say, falsification, some fabrication of the data, that may lead the whole world in the wrong direction. I can give you one example. Some time back, it was reported that a person was working, he was from geology, and he was working on certain fossils. Once he reported that he has got a particular kind of teeth, and that is 1 million years ago. And that research paper was published in a very good journal. Based upon that paper, there was some other scientist in some other country. He was working in the field of paleobotany, and he predicted, based upon that teeth, that what particular kind of vegetation was existing, that what this particular animal was eating the leaves of that kind of plants, and that all was predicted by the another scientist. And based upon that, something else was predicted, and then something else was predicted. But after 10 years, it was found that the very first paper that reported that particular teeth, that this kind of teeth existing 1 million years ago in this area, was found that that was the fake research. He didn't go anywhere to collect that teeth. That was collected, that was found by him in his own city somewhere, and he published it like this. Means you see, just one research paper started the wrong direction, research in the wrong direction. Means paleobotanist predicted what kind of plants existed in that area. Some another scientist predicted that those plants which existed millions years ago, and presently these plants are existing, and which among the present plants are relatives of those plants, and like that. So please avoid this kind of things, because your single papers, your single research paper, your single reporting can take the whole world, whole research on a wrong path. Yes. Then, so I have told you 3 important steps of any research. First one is the, you can say, responsible research design. Second, ethically conducting the research, and ethically publication of the research. Let me come to the, you can say, very good research design. What are the characteristics of a very good research design? Basically, any good research design, that should involve objectives, that should clearly should have the roles and the responsibilities of any researcher. Suppose you are making a research proposal for certain grant. It should be very clear that X thing will be done by A, Y thing will be done by B, and Z thing will be done by the C. If you decide this all on day one, you will avoid all kind of controversy at a later stage. And do a good review of literature. That will help you to properly design your objectives, roles, and responsibilities. Friends, you will find a number of calls are there for different research projects, and we faculty members apply for those research grants, and you will see most of the grants at present are going to big institutes. And we people, those are in smaller universities or in some colleges, we get very little share in those grants. What is the reason of that? The people, those are sitting in big institutes, they have access to very good quality literature. They have very good links. They have very, you can say, good peers. Those can check their proposal and that all. And another thing which I want to say you, I have seen one thing even in my own university, whenever there is a call for any grant, people will come in the last minute on the last day. Sir, I have to apply this project. Please sign this. Just today I have to upload it. And those projects are made in hurry, and they don't have, you can say, very refined objectives, roles, and responsibilities. And because of that, our proposals get rejected. And what these bigger institute peoples do, they already know that this call is going to come in next 10 days, 20 days, 1 month or 2 months. They already know it. And they already make proposals with all kind of discussion with their faculty, with their peers, with their students. And the day call is there, and they immediately submit the proposals. So friends, we have to work on our habit of delaying the things up to the last day. We should do the things on the very first day. You should go different kind of different websites which give grants in your particular subject. You must know them, and you must know when the call will come. And before that, keep your proposals ready. And the moment call is there, immediately submit the proposal. I think that is one thing which you can do. Many of you might be doing that. I don't say that you are not doing. Even myself delay the things in my lab till the last day. We should not linger on the things till the last day. Yes. Then, yes. So this is a checklist for the planning of the research, that properly describe your research objective and the rationale of the research which you want to do. Whenever you plan a project, whenever you plan a PhD, you plan with certain milestones, certain roles, and certain responsibilities. Friends, ensure the viability of the study in view of the resource expertise. Means things should not like with this, that you select a person, your guide, and he is not expert in that particular field, and you are not having that particular equipments which are required, or your guide is not having access in some other laboratory to that kind of equipments, or you are not having the kind of funding required for that particular research problem, so don't select that topic. Select that topic for which research expertise, resource and facility and funding is within your reach. Means what I want to say, don't make very big plan because at the end of the day, you will be nowhere. Yes, and then in many research projects, in many PhDs, certain clearance from certain government agencies are required. And you must be very clear about those guidelines, those rules and regulations. You should be very clear on the day one that from this agency, from there, you have to take this certain permission. You might be knowing that it's really very difficult to get the animals for research nowadays. Every university, every college is having this animal ethics committee. You also might be having. So whenever you do research, always take permission from your research ethics committee. There are many things which don't come under this clearance. For example, you are working on bacteria. I think for them clearance is not required. If suppose you are working on earthworms, I think clearance is not required. But just by writing one letter to the committee, you can inform them that I'm going to work on this. If they reply or don't reply, doesn't matter. But if you use bigger animals like these rats, guinea pigs, rabbits, etc., so that time you need very, you can say, clearance, because whenever you are going to publish that data, you have to mention that clearance number, that by this particular permission, we got the animals to sacrifice for this particular research. Yes. For example, presently I am doing one project, and in that project, we are studying different kind of vegetation in the Himalayas. We have to go into the remote areas, and in certain states, because you all might be knowing, there are 12 states of India which fall in the Himalayan region. And in some states like Arunachal Pradesh or Sikkim, we are not allowed to go to the forest. So over there, what we do, we go to the chief conservator forest of that particular state. We give him letter that we want to do this surveys, and you can send your person with us if you are interested. Or we also ensure them that we are not going to do any kind of harm to the plants, and that all. So please be very clear, and please take all the approvals to avoid any complication, any legality at a later stage. Yes, I think we have already discussed this literature review. Now I'm coming to the conducting research. Friends, good documentation is most important nowadays. Whenever you conduct research, you should have laboratory notes. Whatever research you do, maintain a daily record of that with a date in your lab notebook. And those are students, they should do this. And those are guides. I'll suggest them, whenever a student submitting the PhD under your guidance, ask the student to submit a photocopy of those lab notes or lab copy to you. Because when you publish your research, 10 years down the line, anybody can say that this is a plagiarized research. Somebody can say that you have not done this particular experiment. Somebody can put a question mark on the methodology which you adopted. So that time, those field notes, then those laboratory notes, that laboratory note book will come for your rescue. That will help you to tell the world, no, this work was done by me and it was like this, and this is our record. So always keep a copy of that record. I have seen this. Once the PhD is submitted, a student leave the hostel or the university, they throw their copies, their lab notes there itself. No, friends, they are very important thing. Always keep them with you. This is the researcher's responsibility to avoid plagiarism, falsification, fabrication, and misrepresentation. I have given you one example that how one wrong teeth took the whole botany research into a different direction. Always avoid plagiarism. And in recent times, I have seen a number of cases, and I was involved in some kind of, you can say, committees in different universities related with respect to plagiarism. And over there, one excuse given by the researchers was that I didn't know it. Friends, ignorance of researcher, ignorance of student cannot be the excuse that I did this plagiarism. So it cannot be the excuse for plagiarism. And research integrity is most important. Whenever you are getting the negative results, suppose you are getting some negative results, means you expected some results, you expected an X result, and you are getting minus X result. Don't ignore that. Redo your experiment again and again, because negative results are also have a value. Negative results are also having a meaning. When you will search, you will find there is a journal, and the name of that journal is Journal of Negative Results. Because negative results may not be a challenge to the future research. I can give you one example. Those are chemists, they all might be knowing. You all might be knowing a great chemist named as Berzelius. He gave a theory, and that theory was called Berzelius theory. And according to that theory, Berzelius said that it is not possible to organize, it is not possible to synthesize organic compounds in the lab. Because to synthesize the organic compounds in the lab, some mysterious forces are required, and those mysterious forces are not present in the lab. Those mysterious forces are present only in the living system. So organic compounds can be synthesized only in the living systems. And this theory was, you can say, accepted for 30 years. Then there was one student of this Berzelius, I forgot his name. One day he was doing heating of some compounds in the lab, and he was able to synthesize the urea. If he would have believed the theory of his guide, so he would have rejected that no, urea cannot be synthesized in the lab because this has been said by my guide in his theory. But he didn't. He repeated that heating of those two compounds again and again. If you will read, you will find all the details. And then he confirmed that yes, urea can be synthesized in the lab. And you all know that urea is an organic compound. And that single compound, synthesis of that single compound, proved nail in the coffin of a theory of his own guide that was accepted for the 30 years. So friends, whenever you get the negative results and the results are not on the same pace as other people are saying, don't ignore them. Redo your experiment and try to confirm those experiments. So then your research will be a path-breaking research. Yes. Always avoid potential for any conflict in the future with respect to the roles, responsibilities, authorship, ownership, IPR, whenever you are doing the collaborative research. I have seen a number of times dispute is there, ethical disputes I'm discussing with you between guide and supervisors. Many a time students blame that this experiment was done by me and my guide has not given my name. My name should have been first, my guide name should have been third or second or blah, blah, blah. If you visit the Science Direct, just in the Google you put this, particularly this Elsevier had started one paragraph nowadays at the end of every research paper, they call it credit statement. And in credit statement, you will identify that they have identified 13 or 14 roles, that the getting of funding, conceiving the idea, experimentation, writing the paper, reviewing the paper, and like that they have identified 13 or 14 things. So you always decide that in the beginning of the research. I'll suggest you all the researchers and guides, many of you might be knowing, just put in the Google that you...
Excuse me, Lakshmi, Aishwarya, can you please mute your mic?
Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me.
Okay, can I continue?
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Yeah. So you please in the Google you search that credit statement by Elsevier journals. So you will find that list of 14 roles. So those should be defined on the day one whenever you start that. And now, a little bit about research ethics. Basically, when I say ethics, what is ethics? This is a branch of philosophy. And this deals with the dynamics of decision making concerning what is right and what is wrong. Whenever we do research or we do any activity, all human activities, they require ethics. And when I say research ethics doesn't mean one-day job. Research ethics are required in your daily work. When you write in your research paper that I have used double distilled water to make all the solution, then you should really use the double distilled water for making your solution. And research ethics are involved in the protection of the dignity of the subject. When I say subject, it means I'm talking about the humans on which you do certain interviews, certain experiments. I'm talking about the animals on which you do certain experiments. So protection of the dignity of those subjects is most important. And the responsibility and ethics are must in the publication of your research. I have given you one example of this paleobotany and fossil that all. According to Setzer, ethics are not definable. Ethics are not implementable. Ethics is something, means that should not only be in our thinking, but that should also be in our feelings. So that is something, ethics cannot be defined that what is ethics and what is not ethics. Friends, there are a number of examples in the, you can say, history of science where ethics were given a go by, tata bye bye, means ethics were not followed. I can give you a few examples, particularly from the medical research. In the 1st century, in Egypt, there was a physician named as Celsius. This Celsius is not that Celsius who has given the temperature scale. This Celsius is different from that Celsius. And this physician, Celsius, who was from Egypt, he said that we can do the experiments on the criminals. And it is not cruel to inflict a few criminal sufferings, because whatever results will be, we are going to get, those results will be beneficial for the innocent people throughout the centuries. Friends, this is not correct. That somebody is criminal, he is in the jail, and you do experiment on that. And many researchers have taken this statement, and they have, based upon this statement, a number of researchers in the biomedical field, in the medical science, they have taken the liberty and they have sacrificed the criminals like guinea pigs in the laboratory. I'm going to give you few examples. Friends, then there are a number of people, another phase of research, if I come, there is the researchers did experiments on their family members. They did experiments on self. I give you one example. You all might be knowing Edward Jenner, who gave the vaccine for this smallpox. He did experiment on his 18-month-old son. And at that time, he was declared mad. Okay, we got the vaccine by his experiments. I agree to that. But he never took the consent of that baby. Rather, baby was not empowered at that time to give the consent. I can give you another example of the Ronald Ross, who got the Nobel Prize. He was an Indian-born Britisher he did this experiment on this malaria and that all that Plasmodium vivax life cycle was studied by him. What he did, he put these mosquitoes to bite himself and that all. He did experiments on himself. And then Nazi camp and these Nazi concentration camps in Germany and that all, they are known for a number of experiments. I was reading somewhere that there was a doctor and he was developing some thread for the stitching of the wounds of the soldiers. So what he did, he took 2 Polish people, he cut their skin and skin of 2 children that was stitched by him together in a Nazi camp. So I think there cannot be the worst example of liberty taken in doing the experiments. Then some of you might be knowing the Tuskegee syphilis study. This is a experiment that was started somewhere in 1930s. Tuskegee is an area in US. Over there, one experiment was started on the syphilis. At that time, syphilis was very common, and some researcher wanted to see the effect of the syphilis on the life of people, and the total number of subjects, all were black. Those were subjects in this study. 390 of them were having syphilis, and I think 210 were not having the syphilis. They were the controlled. You know, in 1940, penicillin was declared the standard vaccine for the treatment of the people. 390 people, those were having the syphilis at that time, they were not given this vaccine to these people, even when the vaccine was available in the market. And when this experiment was started for 6 months only, but this experiment continued for next 40 years till 1970. This experiment was continued by them. And the people, those who were affected by the syphilis, they were given just one promise by these doctors who were doing this experiment, that in case you die during the experimentation, you will be given a, you can say, very respectful burial. This was what was promised. So in 1970s, after 40 years of starting of these experiments, when there was a lot of hue and cry in media and that time this experiment was stopped. We will have discussion on this, and you will find a number of cases where the experiments have been carried out on orphans, prisoners, mentally ill people, and many times experiments have been conducted without the knowledge of the subject of that particular person. I can give you one example. When you will study about this malaria research, I'm talking about that Ronald Rose. There was a person in the central India, in Sikandrabad area or Hyderabad area. His name was Hamid. He was given 1 anna for the bite of one mosquito. And that mosquito means that mosquito will bring the malaria in the Hamid's body, and then Ronald Ross will do the experiment. Total 8 anna means half a rupee, 50 paisa was given to him at that time. And 8 mosquitoes were, means bites were there on the body of Hamid, and then experiment was done. Means many a time experiments have been done on the needy people. Many a times this kind of reports come in the newspapers that a number of vaccines we have been developed by certain companies. They go to Africa or certain Asian countries, and experiments are done on the people. Those are coming to the hospitals without the knowledge of those people. So friends, we should not do that kind of things in our research, because whenever you do any experiment, always tell the subject about that what kind of benefits is going to get, what kind of harm can be there. So question arises, what is the importance of ethics in research? Friends, if you follow the ethics in research, then you protect the vulnerable group and the other participants of the study, as I have given you certain examples. When you follow the ethics, you safeguard the participants from any kind of exploitation. Always do the risk-benefit analysis of the study which you are going to do. Always give full respect, dignity, privacy, disclosure, and fair treatment to the subject. I'll give you one example, and then we will have discussion on that. Not recently, a few years back, a doctor was doing a study on some AIDS patient. One of his subject was having AIDS, but that AIDS had not, that subject, that particular patient who was part of that study, he had not told his wife or his family that he is having the AIDS. But that doctor, that researcher told the wife of that person that your husband is having the AIDS, And once wife came to know that his husband is having the AIDS, she left her husband and she took divorce, and his family was completely devastated. Then I'm stopping my presentation. I want to have a discussion with you whether doctor did right or wrong as a researcher. Yes, please, anyone from your side. Can anyone speak on this, whether the decision of doctor was right, researcher was right or wrong? Garg Lahiri want to say something.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I believe the decision of the doctor was right, because if the patient is suffering from STDs or say HIV/AIDS, he is likely to infect his partner. So the spouse has the right to know that her husband is suffering from HIV/AIDS. And as a researcher, means if we go into the medical field, we see that the doctors are bound by confidentiality, but the confidentiality, in the principle of confidentiality also between a doctor and a patient, there are some exceptions. And this case is a clear exception where the doctor must let the spouse of the patient know that he is suffering from a disease which is likely to infect the other partner.
Gargi, don't you feel that in case he wanted to tell the wife, he should have taken the permission of that particular subject?
Sir, I
He
guess
didn't took the permission.
Sir, here the permission is not needed because he is likely to infect others. The others are at risk. Even if he hides the other, it will be something which will be difficult for others to face. So in these type of things in the say medical field, there's no permission needed from the patient. A doctor can reveal information about the patient if the patient is a potential risk to the health of the others.
Okay. Okay, actually there is no specific answer. This is ethics, as I told you. Ethics is something that we have to follow in everyday's life. B. Compa has raised the hand. Do you want to say something? B. Compa. Okay, anyone would like to comment on this, whether the doctor did right or wrong while telling the wife of the patient? One more comment. Diana Isaac, can you give your views on this? Okay, I can move ahead. I think people are not. Yes. Then another very important thing is you should build the capabilities of the subjects to accept or reject the participation in the study. They should be given the right. If at any stage they want to quit from the study, that right should be given to them. It should not be like the Tuski's case that, okay, people are subject for next 40 years. This is not, you can say, ethical. And particularly when vaccine is there in the market, they should have been given the vaccines. Okay, then these are some of the principles which are related with the research ethics. Always minimize the risk of harm to the subject. Means if you can do the experiment without killing a particular animal, whether it is a guinea pig, whether it is a rabbit, don't kill it. And always, whenever you do any survey, when you do any interview, any study, always obtain the informed consent and always protect anonymity and confidentiality. But here, one of the participants, Gargi, has said that in that particular case, confidentiality would have been dangerous for other people of the society. I think you can have discussion among your own group whether doctor did the right or wrong. Yes, always avoid deceptive practices as were used by that Ronald Rose for Hamid or as were used in the Tuskegee experiment, and always provide the right to withdraw to the subject at any stage. Yes. Once you have done the experiment, you have followed all the ethics, data is there, then the next stage is the publication of the research. The main concern with the publication of research are falsification and fabrication of data. That is one of the big disease. I think because of this particular reason, I don't know whether it is right or wrong, Indian publications are not taken seriously all over the world. A very little attention is given to the Indian publications. This is one area which we have to think. Then plagiarism is the another important area. Plagiarism is a very big issue. Even the government of India, UGC, has given the guidelines for plagiarism also. Friends, there is another problem that is of ghost authorship, which we are facing at the present. I'm stopping my presentation and I want to know from you, what do you understand by the ghost authorship? What is ghost authorship? What do you understand by that? Any participant, please. That what is ghost authorship? Yes, please. Can anyone answer this? That what is ghost authorship? Priya KP.
Not giving actual credit to the contributor.
Not giving credit. No, it is reverse. Giving credit to the person who has not done the research. For example, my guide and his wife both are in the same subject, and I am student of the husband, and husband is asking me, write the name of my wife in your every research paper. That is called as ghost authorship. Suppose I am head of the department, I am very influential person, I am dean of the school, I am very influential person, and I am telling every researcher, or every researcher is giving my name in his or her publication. That is ghost authorship. Or at many places I have seen everybody whosoever is doing the experiment, they are giving the name of their guide. Not guide, their director in every research. So that is called as ghost authorship. So ghost authorship should be there or should not be there, and how it can be avoided. This is what I want to know from you. Yes, anyone please. That's a very interesting question. How to avoid the ghost authorship? No one.
So I think it should be avoided.
How we should avoid when the person is very influential?
So actually, like as you said earlier, when we have to write the contributions of each author, as in Elsevier journals, if something is there, we can actually put who contributed how much, right?
Means we should avoid the ghost authorship. Otherwise, what will happen? Suppose you and ghost are appearing for the same interview. That ghost author and you are appearing for the same interview. You have your own publications, and ghost author is having the publication from all the students of the department, and then he will say, see how much work has been done by me. He will get the research grant, or he will get selected, and you will get nothing. So always avoid the ghost authorship. It may be a little bit tough for you. It may be a little bit tough even for me to avoid the ghost authorship, but we have to avoid the ghost authorship. Friends, this is one thing which I wanted to say to you. Always avoid ghost authorship. Don't be emotional when you give the authorship. And the order of authorship should be divided on the day one. Always avoid interferences. Friends, you might have seen, I have also seen, that students of one lab in one department don't talk with the students of other lab in the other department. And it has also been seen that people interfere in each other's work. We should avoid all kind of interferences. If we cannot promote, if we cannot help somebody, please stop all kind of interferences in other person's work. Means these are very bad for the future research. And whenever you do experiments on the animals, Whenever you do experiments on the animals, follow the ethics, always take the permission. And whenever you do the experiment on the human subjects, always follow the ethics. And this is what I wanted to say today. I'm stopping this presentation. We are left with some time. If there is any question, we can have some discussion, please. Over to the Dr. Sarita and organizers.
Hello, sir. So thank you for the
Yes.
session. I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please unmute your mic and ask directly.
Yes.
We are also streaming on YouTube. If any of the participants in YouTube has any questions, you may type it there. We will take up the questions. So,
Okay, there is one question that what is the difference in falsification and fabrication of data? This is a very good question. Fabrication of data, I'll give you one example. Suppose you have to do survey of 1,000 people for your research. You have to go to different villages, different cities, different communities for that survey. Instead going there, you go to the website of the population statistics of India, and you sit at your home or in the canteen or in the mess of your or in the room of your hostel, and you take performa and just tick by yourself that responses which you wanted from the general public. Instead of that, if you give that all yourself, that is called as fabrication. Falsification means you got some results and you modify them. That will be called as falsification. Means nothing has been done and you say that I have done this, and you publish that. That will come under the cat. Both are interrelated to each other, but both are wrong things. Both are wrong things which should not be there. I mean, both are not good for the research. Okay, Dr. Sarita, I think my time is over.
Sir, there is one more question by Ginny Thomas. Is it possible to apply parametric and non-parametric test in the same research study?
I think I may not be able to answer this question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, no.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Saji, yes, you can type Saji your question. I think that time it will be much easy for me.
And the problem you can hear. The only question is that after publishing an article in a journal, should we not give consent to keep the same in ResearchGate?
I couldn't understand, Dr. Sarita. Can you repeat this?
Sir, actually, from what I heard, he's asking after publication, after publishing an article, should we get consent to upload it in ResearchGate? I think that is
no. In case you have transferred the copyright, man, you cannot. Yes, you can do one thing maximum. Means there are two options which are given to you in the ResearchGate. One is for the public display. Anybody can download and it is available. Second is you can give it on request to somebody. That I think you can do, but you cannot upload it for the public download. Okay, Saji?
Normally, it usually comes in the ResearchGate without our permission. How it happened?
So, what you want to say?
Normally, it comes in ResearchGate automatically.
No, it will not come automatically. As long as you don't upload or any one of your co-author doesn't upload, the paper will not come. One has to upload, only then it will come. Otherwise, it will not come.
Or the
complete paper. I mean, title of the paper, author, up to abstract, it is okay. This is free.
Okay.
It will be there. But full paper will only be available when you upload it. One among you, those are authors. If doesn't upload, it will not be there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Saji. So I think that's all from my side, Dr. Sarita. I think we can conclude the session now.
Okay, sir.
Now I invite Dr. Sarita K. Nair for delivering the vote of thanks.
Hello. I would first like to give a big thanks to our resource person, Dr. Vinod Kumar Garg, for giving such an enlightening session on research and research ethics. He had been very cordial while I invited him for this session, and he accepted our invitation without any hesitation and gave such a wonderful session. I think all participants have said it was a fruitful session and informative one also. I am thankful to our principal, Shanti A. Avram, who has been supportive of IQAC in conducting this event. And I am very much grateful to my colleagues in IQAC and also in UGC Paramarsh scheme. Without the support from them, this event would not have been possible. And I extend my thanks to the technical support staff for helping us with the live streaming on college YouTube channel. And last but not the least, I thank all the participants who made this event a success. Once again, I thank each and everyone behind this event. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sarita. Can I leave the meeting?
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.